I'm here with Micah Davis, who's an entrepreneur, singer, and a musician, among other things. So how's it going?
Pretty good, man.
That's
Glad to be here.
that's excellent to hear. So let's talk about your app. What's it called?
It's called Network.
And can you explain what is it? What does it do?
All right, it has been called an Angie's List for the Arts. So I'm basically wanting to put every artistic person I know with their different trades in one place. So, photographers, graphic designers, then we go over to caterers and fashion designers, just all in one place where we can network, do business with each other, and just be an available source for other customers as well to find people.
So would it be set up like city by city, or would it just be like a national thing? How would it work?
So there's going to be two settings. This is a good question, actually. I want to make it first city to city just so we can bring our communities together, because there's so many dope people that we just don't know about, like in our backyards. And then eventually you can just like press a certain setting to just network with anybody in the whole entire world. So yeah, that's what it's going to be.
Cool. So where did you get the idea? How did that come about?
I would say that I wish that my iPhone could do more than it could. I was like, man, my phone just got so disorganized. When I was trying to find someone, this is what I started doing. If I met someone, I would put what they do as their last name. It was like, for a while, it was like Jason Photographer. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many Jasons in my phone. It was just crazy. So I was like, I need to get organized and know when I want to talk to somebody that has like cool skills. There's like a whole area full of cool people. And I was like, yeah. So forget group pages or whatever. It's annoying. Let's make a network.
Nice. So is there a release date? What's the newest news on that?
All right, it's always something different. So you guys will be able to test it within 2 weeks. I know that. As far as a release date, I really want to make sure that I do a beta test for like Americans, because I released it in Canada for a little bit just to kind of get some bugs out the way, and that did pretty well. But I learned that I had to save up money to buy servers, because like being able to like support all that's going on, it's been a cool learning experience, because I thought it was just like, yeah, make an app, you're done, but it's a big responsibility, and it's kind of blowing up a little bigger than I expected it to be. So yeah, got the servers now, gonna give it to my friends and everything like yourselves, and get you all's opinions on it, tweak it one more time if necessary, then plan like a really fun release.
Cool. So when you're like rich and famous, can I like mow your lawn?
Bruh, all of y'all getting invited over for some random arcade something childish. I don't know.
That sounds great. So how did you, obviously you had the idea for it. You sort of knew, I would assume, like vaguely what it would look like and how it would operate. Did you do the coding? How did you get it into app form?
Okay. So I used to have dreams about what this app would look like. So every morning I would like wake up, and I suck at drawing, but I would do my best to just kind of show people what I'm talking about, right? So I went on YouTube University, and I taught myself a little bit about coding, enough to present something to an actual developer. So the first versions of Network look like stick figures. It's terrible. I don't recommend it. But yeah, I did it. I learned enough where I could give it to someone where they could see my vision, and he took it to a nice, beautiful level. Like it looks very elegant, and yeah. But my version sucked. Taught myself though.
Well, that's awesome. Jason, do you have any other questions about the app?
Do you see it only being on mobile platforms, or do you see it going on the web eventually?
I really want to evaluate that, because me personally, I want it to be on the web, just because I look at SoundCloud as a really successful business. And with SoundCloud, it's like I upload music via my computer. I'm not on my phone like, oh, just dropped a song on my phone. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I really feel like I want it to be on the computer, but I got to really see the trends of how many people are using their phones versus computer, and yeah. But the desire is that. But everyone's just like, no, man, phones all the way. So people talk in my head.
Right.
So that's about it, though.
Right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the music stuff. What do you? I mean, SoundCloud is such a huge thing now. It kind of blows my mind. Do you? I mean, that's where you post your music, for instance, right?
Okay, so here's the fun fact about SoundCloud. I have like 2 copyright strikes, so I got like maybe 2 more 2 more months up there tops before they get me. Like, I've accepted it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna move to Audio Mac or something as far as uploading music to an audience. But I made a website so I could move my fans over to that, just so I can keep everybody in the loop that wants to keep up with me. But yeah, SoundCloud, it was an awesome source in the beginning because I love how you can comment on a song as it's playing. So it's like, oh man, at 1:30, like you just blew my mind. So that's an awesome concept with that. And yeah, the SoundCloud world is cool to see how it works though. I was like, they really love bootlegs and flips. You take a song that's already out and you do your own version of it, and they respond to that there. So this year I took a interest in that, started doing it, and got a cool little fan base. And yeah, it's been a fun experiment. But as far as SoundCloud, it's an awesome source.
So would you compare SoundCloud and YouTube, for instance? Like, copyright stuff that would get taken down much faster on YouTube, right? But do you think the audience is bigger?
With YouTube, what they do is they just say, we won't play your video in Germany. Because I have a bunch of copyrighted stuff up there, but it's just limited with my audience. I think with YouTube, the community isn't there anymore. They kind of moved over to Vine just because the attention spans are a lot, smaller. But I feel like it's going to make a comeback eventually. So I keep uploading stuff to there just so once it does make its comeback, that's a terrible sentence, but we're going to go. Who cares? It's cool, man. But yeah, once YouTube gets back where it needs to be, I'll be ready. Because, I like YouTube, and I love web series that are there weekly. It's just cool. But I can watch an 11-minute web series and not be. I can watch you guys' hour something show because it's interesting to me. But some people are like, no, give me the best 6 seconds.
Right.
So people talk in my head as well. Right. But yeah, YouTube's a cool source too. It's just there's nobody up there talking.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, let's talk. Where do you think sort of the music industry is going, and where do you kind of fit into that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, very good question. Me and my friends actually talked about this. We feel like the music industry right now is kind of like the 70s, where there's like no rules, a bunch of experimental, like people making it for no reason type of thing. There's a lot of songs that just break the structure of music, which is fun. And that totally fits my style. I just like doing, because I'm a guy whose attention span is small as well. I get bored quick, so I try to like just do just random stuff in my music. It's almost like a journey of just how my mind is just all over the place. So, yeah, it's been a cool journey with just uploading music to SoundCloud, experimenting with things, and figuring out how I fit into the music industry and just finding my sound in general. But yeah, like it's cool when I play a song for somebody and I see how they're like, okay, I can tell this is you because of this, that, and the other. So I start to say, okay, I got to just start making more of that just to like really define, when you hear this, you think of me. So that's what all this has been for. I've been doing a series called Arbitrary Sax, where I literally just play sax over songs that I enjoy. I got another one called Sample Hunters, where I just go to my friend's house, steal some records, and make a beat with it. It's just really just being free and doing whatever feels right. And that's what I've gotten back to. Like all the promotion games and waiting outside the record late. I don't got time for that. I just want to experiment with cool sounds and make some good tunes.
That's awesome.
Also, the time I heard a while ago in downtown Norfolk, you were playing outside a venue and you got brought inside, I think.
Yeah, that was a fun story, man. Oh man. Okay, see, I tell people you gotta really just let the day flow, right? So I had a show at FM Backstage, but I went on stage at midnight. So I got there at 8 o'clock just to make sure like nothing went wrong. So I was like, man, I am bored. So I was like, okay, I have a saxophone. This is Granby Street. I'm just gonna go outside, play saxophone for a little bit because parking costs $5 and I want to make that money back. Yeah. Right? So I'm playing sax, I'm walking. Then this artist named Drum is like, yo, you might want to play by Granby Theater, that you can probably get some good money over there. I'm like, sure, you know these streets better than I do. I go over there, start playing sax, make money really fast, like $20. I'm like, cool, I'm happy. I made some money, great, no free parking, awesome. And so I like paused, I'm playing the saxophone, and then there's this photographer guy that comes out, and he has this really obscure camera. So I'm like, oh, it's just a tourist. But it happened to be one of Canon's like really expensive cameras, and like the quality turned out amazing. So I was just like, okay, cool. I guess I'll just put on a show real quick, playing for him. And then the people outside of Granby Theater, it was the manager and the bouncer. They were like, "Yo, you're pretty good, man." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." He was like, "You know what? I want you on stage right now." And I was like, "Dude, you're playing." He's like, "No, seriously, man. You and your friend, like, come in here." So out of nowhere, I'm just like, okay, I'm going in this place. I've never been in there before. It's like I felt like I was in the Facebook movie because there was just all these lights and everybody's like, yeah, $1 billion, yeah, hell, Marty. Like it was crazy, and I was like, oh my god, it was just ridiculous. I'm walking backstage, everything's live. There's this super EDM-ish DJ just killing the game, and then I'm backstage. Then there's these two pillars with go-go dancers on them. And I was like, if this isn't the livest thing ever. And then the theme of the night was like Great Gatsby nights. Everybody's looking all fancy and cool. There's a guy in a banana suit. I don't know what that has to do with the movie, but he was there. And I was like, wow. And so they're like, yo, we got this saxophone player. He's going to kill it. They announce me. They start playing like a top 40 song, like, I don't know, like Don't Tell Him or something like that. And I play my own little jazzy version of it. Everyone's going wild. People are taking phones out. I feel more important than I really am. I was like, this is ridiculous. And the manager, the owner of the store comes out and he's like, I want you here every week. And I was just like, this is nuts. What else is there to say about that, man? It was just surreal. I mean, I'm on a pillar with this cool dancer and stuff, and there's lights, and then they buy us drinks and food, and they're just like, whatever you want. The world is like, it was just a movie. I was like,
that's amazing.
Saying nice things.
Have they hit you up since then?
Yeah. So we're just trying to organize it where I can be with it, like me with a DJ, because I love playing with DJs. Because you're doing your thing, I'm doing mine. We're not stepping on toes. So I'll be there again. Y'all hear about it.
Speaking of that, when are you going to be next door in the Norva?
I know, right? The Norva. The funny thing about the Norva is I've played there like twice before, but not my personal music. So I think I want to wait till I think the demand is up where I don't have to like hustle tickets. I wanted to just be where, oh, we're going to go see Masego. Not, please, I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of my friends love them to death, but it's like they hustle way too hard.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, you sold tickets, but now you're tired. Now you can't perform nice.
Right.
So the Norva will come when I feel like I deserve it.
So have you ever gotten those places where it's sort of like pay to play? Like, yeah, you can play, but you got to sell 30 tickets and you got to buy them first. Have you ever had that?
I think the only experience I had was when there was this like audition to be on BET or something like that, right? And you had to pay for the opportunity. And I'm a cheap guy, so I'm like, unless I hear something interesting, I'm like, okay, BET, maybe that'll do something for me. So I paid for the opportunity to do that, but I don't know. It's just like their main objective was to get that money. You know, they don't care about your talent or anything like that. They're just like thanks for the cash. So I started making it my effort to wherever I go, I'm networking. I'm putting it in my own power to, you know, give out some cards, talk to people, anyone I feel I could benefit, and then vice versa. That's when it started getting cool. But I don't pay for opportunities like that. Like I have to really think about it. Like, okay, what can you really do for me? Are you trying to get my bread, or are we trying to make a non-parasite relationship here?
Right. Non-parasite relationship. So let's jump back. How did you get into music?
You can just say church. You know, I was 8 years old. My parents are both pastors. My mother was the minister of music, and I'm in the front pew every Sunday watching drummers and piano players, and I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. And I also observed my mother being upset about them being inconsistent. She called it unfaithful. So it was just like sometimes you're at rehearsal, sometimes you're not. And they knew when you're at that growing stage, people can just be like, I'm doing you a favor, so I really don't have to take you seriously. So I didn't like that. So I was like, Mom, I'm your son. So, I mean, you know, if I don't come to rehearsal, you just not feed me or something. So I'm like, I'll learn drums. Boom. I start with drums, you know, insert spiritual stuff here. And the interest just kind of just kept on going up. Like if I would see someone, I just want to like sponge off them, but make my own quilt. And I feel like just life became this huge quilt of I'm taking from this, that, and the other, and now look at this new pattern. So that's really how it was. Because I mean, I'm on like my 5th instrument now. You know, it started with drums, went with the piano, sax, bass, guitar, you know, spoons. You know, you just go with it, man.
So do you have a favorite, at least for like right now, the time being?
I like the keys, man. The world likes the saxophone because it's different. I get it, but it's like But the thing about keys is like there's so many sounds, and you can I don't know. I can play saxophone on keys. So yeah, keys gives you so many options. I love it.
Cool. Any other questions?
Who's your role model right now?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, who have you looked up to? Who are your heroes?
Okay, let me just what pops in my mind. Kimbra is amazing because I was like, wow, you're looping, you're soulful. It's just, I don't know. I love her. She's awesome. I'm glad that she's doing very well with her music. Who else does very interesting things, man? I like weird people, man. Like a guy named Bernhoft, this Norwegian singer. Like, he's incredible as well. It's just, I like soul, and I like clashing elements. I think most of my heroes are producers. There's a guy named Lido. He's ridiculous as well because they're pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? They're not just making that typical beat you're supposed to rap over. It's structured. They're just breaking rules. They're saying, hey, the hook's in the beginning, and ooh, synth solo. I just threw a triangle in there. It's just like no rules. And Lido, 20 SYL, a guy named KRS in Jamaica, like bunch of weird people nobody cares about, but I think they're like incredible. And I show Sons of Love on Twitter because I'm genuinely fascinated by producers. Like, they're just weird. It's cool.
So what was the first time that you were like listening to music and you were like, this is what I want to do? Or like, what was the first album that you were like, I love this, I need to keep listening to this?
I was watching this movie called We're Back Dinosaurs or something like that. Like, it's this big orange dinosaur, this old little VHS movie. In the beginning of the movie, there's this mean saxophone solo, and I was like, Mom, I want to play the saxophone. That's where it's at. And then within the movie, it's like foundationally that movie like structured me in my lameness musically. Like, there's this like weird little song within there, and he's kind of like scatting and everything. And so then I'm like, man, I love scatting. And so I look up scatting, I get linked to Cap Calloway. He's a huge hero. There we go. That's the guy, man. That's why I'm growing my hair out, man. My hair is gonna move eventually. Like, that dude is just like free, it's flipping, it's like swing and bebop and so much energy. Like, yeah. How did I not know that earlier? But yeah, that's when I knew. I was like, yo, with these two elements, I really want to do music because it's fun. Yeah.
So, do you think it's more important to keep up with, as a musician at least, to keep up with like what's happening now, what's on the cutting edge, or to go back and say, where do we come from?
I'm currently trying to figure out where I came from when it comes to musically. Like, I don't know much about, the sax players Gerald Albright and Kenny G. I don't know, Dave Koz. That's a terrible thing to say, Kenny G, like he's the only sax player ever existed. I don't know, but I mean, I feel like it's important to get that foundation because these guys they know a lot. And it's easy to do music nowadays, so people like kind of cut corners, it's so easy to make music. So it's really good to look at that foundation where you can really become a pro at it. But I mean, I think if you want to make money, you got to probably know what's cutting edge. You got to utilize the trendy media for yourself within your character. But I feel like before you play the whole I'm going to post a top 40 song every day game, you should know who you are, so it's your interpretation of that ridiculousness.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as you know, as you may or may not know, the Norva got bought recently, and they're supposed to double their amount of acts they have every year from like 180 to 300 something. In general, what do you think the direction of the Hampton Roads music scene is going, and what role do you see yourself having in it, sort of?
That is a boss question. I didn't know that, though. That's pretty cool information. I really think this area is doing well. I feel like it's going in the right direction. Like the whole Granby Street, Alchemy, and all these different kind of art type of situations coming up, the art district, so to speak. I feel like it's good because there's a lot of obscure and eclectic artists in this area, and I feel like it's just gonna give them a chance to kind of be seen and everything. It'll kind of reshape the sound of Virginia, I think. So yeah, if the management is right, I really feel like it's gonna attract some cool people. Cause when the management is bad, you attract these people that their music isn't dope, but you can work with them or they can make you a quick buck. And I feel like if we get back to the arts, but we're also making money, that's when we're killing the game. So
cool. So do you have like a favorite local artist besides yourself?
I don't like me yet. Billy Mercury, man, that is my favorite local artist. I think that I swear that dude's gonna be like 20 times more famous than me. Like he's like freaking Tupac meets Marvin Gaye or something. Like he's really, his character is so effortless. Like when I talk about like finding yourself, that dude knows who he is. And the beauty of it is, it's like when you see him perform, it's like you can't boo him, you can't hate that. Like it's him. That's my favorite character. Like that's the dude.
That sounds kind of amazing. What about people that you've worked with? Who have been the fun sort of like local musicians?
Let's see, who's been the funnest person to work with? I like working with a dude named Maxwell, bass player. Like he's always pushing the envelope. I think anybody that goes against their expected character. Like I mean, he's a bass player that plays in church and whatnot, but he listens to like Snarky Puppy and Selection music and like just this kind of progressive R&B. So it takes his musicianship to the next level. So guys like that, I really think I love working with him. Most people I work with are like via SoundCloud and Twitter. Like I hear something, I'm like, dude, you're dope. Let's work together. They're like, sure. I mean, like that's why the sax is cool, because it opens up opportunities where they're like, oh, you play sax? Yeah, that'd be cool in my beat. And so we take that, then they learn other things that I do, and we form this relationship. But it really opens up doors, and I can't even think of anybody else. Like a guy named KRS again, this guy from Jamaica. Like he's made me popular on SoundCloud. I'll give him that, because it's like we did a collab and everybody was like, eyes on me now. So I mean, definitely a nice little handout. Yeah. I gotta say.
I mean, how sweet is that? That like we live in this age where you can literally be on two opposite sides of the world and make music.
It's really cool. Like every now and again, I like step back and I'm like, dude, I can literally watch a commercial, say, wow, that was cool, I'm gonna sample that, now it's a beat. And now people are responding to it like, I know that, you know what I'm saying? It's weird. And then I was thinking yesterday, I met this girl named Jamie Phillips. She's a mural artist. Like who can say that in their bio? Right. How many mural artists do you know? But like, yeah, I meet her in the arcade, I believe, in Norfolk, and she's like, hey, there's this painting right here that your beat inspired. And I'm like, okay, give me a second to go faint real quick. Like, the power of music is just ridiculous sometimes if you think of it. Like, her painting's inspired by my music, and now we're gonna make a project where we're just going back and forth, just creating off each other. And I'm like, that's gonna do well. It's just awesome. So
with that, like, it is so easy to make music. You can just torrent whatever if you don't want to pay for it, just torrent whatever the software is. Like, you can do whatever. With so many people being able to do that, how do you find the people that aren't terrible? Like, when you're looking for music, how do you do it efficiently and not just kind of waste your time? Does that make sense?
I feel you. I feel like when you're trying to be a progressive like producer, you're aware of what's easy to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's easy to put a simple drum loop in and then like a stock sound and sample and call it a beat. But I'd make an effort to do things that require effort. You know what I'm saying? Like playing an instrument on a beat, that you can't replicate that. So like when I hear that on a beat, I'm like, yo, this is either a really good sample or you played that instrument. These chords, you can't just do that. So I have an ear for what took time, like just crazy chopping and all these effects and panning. Like if you put effort in your beats, I feel like you can detect it. You can detect basic from complex, and the guys that are complex they catch my attention.
So that just kind of reminded me. I've never seen anybody play with like a loop pedal the way that you've played. Is that a like? How did you get the idea for that? Have you seen other people do that? Like I've seen that with like only guitar. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Where'd I first see looping at? It probably dated back for a long time ago. I don't know, man. So I know I saw a guitar player looping at first, but he was beatboxing as well. So I was like, okay, this can be for me then. I can mess with some other things. And then I don't know. Basically, the first looping pedal I saw was the Boss RC300. It's the typical one guitar players have. It's like a larger one, and it has multiple tracks, right? So it was literally just building a song from scratch, and like it's like sectioned in parts. So I mean, I just went on this binge on YouTube looking up different like freaking loopers, and I was like, oh my god, that's how I found Kimbra. And there's so many obscure guys that loop. And there's this really popular video of this girl named like Janae Suki or something like that. She made her own cover to that Subtract song, something, I don't know. But either way, she just like piano, singing, beatboxing, bass guitar, just killed it. And I was like, this represents me, because I mean, it's hard to show everybody as much as you can with limited resources. So I'm just like, I can't bring you inside my mind or bring you inside the studio. So I'm gonna just bring this little device, a couple instruments, and it's like, it's hard to not appreciate that. It's like, I make a beat in front of somebody's face. It's like, you can't hate that. It's like, I just created something that will never happen again.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know if I answered the question, but looping YouTube just has so many cool people that no one cares about for some reason. But I'm like, I care about you. I'm gonna tweet you and tell you that. That's how I roll, man.
Well, that's awesome.
Where can we find you making movies online?
That was gonna be my question. That was good.
Y'all are smooth dudes, bro. I feel like the best thing would to go to masegomusic.com. That's MASEGO music.com. And you'll get everything from that. You have a nice little email list at the bottom, and if you're in that email list, I do cool stuff for you guys all the time, just to throw you some music, give you some candy. I don't know. It's cool.
Some ear candy. So
that man, bars. That was good. I like that.
yes. So who else are you currently playing with? Like let's go through sort of everywhere on the internet that they can find you.
Okay.
Or is it all on Masego Music?
I'm gonna say, like, I did like a lot of cleansing. Like there were like thousands of videos of me online, because I've been to like every open mic I can think of in this area. But I really want things that accurately depict my talent at the current level, while still giving some old stuff to say you see the progression. So yeah, I made sure Masego Music is like the foundation, and it just kind of points you in some directions where you want to go. My SoundCloud is Masego Music. If you Google me, it'll do the work for you. It'll just show you my SoundCloud. I'm on there. YouTube, Instagram is Masego24. Let me see what else we got. But yeah, those are the main places I hang out. Anything else is just like, there's not a lot of stuff up there. Like maybe I'm on Vimeo, but who's on Vimeo?
Right.
So just gonna do it.
All right, cool. Well, that was. Oh, okay.
I don't know if you heard about it. Have you heard about the new ad-free Facebook experience? ELO. What do you think about that?
Okay, wait. I don't know. Okay, I heard of two things. I heard of Elo and I heard of Sue. This little green one where it's like you gotta pay. They pay you to use the social network type of thing. So it sounds good out loud. It does. So I think the same about both of those. I feel like unless your friends get on it as a group, it's not gonna pop. So basically, you have to convince your group of friends to do it for it to work, because that's just how it works. I came on Twitter because my friends were over there during an award show, like laughing it up, and I was like, I want to be a part of that. I got on Instagram because the same thing. Like you want your friends to be a part of it, because it's like, unless you're coming with the mindset of I just want new people, So a social network has to define what the environment's like. Because I feel like freaking ViscoCam, they're geniuses, because they're making this like. They made their own environment. They said, we're making the rules. We're not making this thing about followers and likes and comments. We're making this about your art. So what mindset to come into that social network with. So if they establish, what, no ads, cool. But how annoying are ads where you're gonna leave Facebook and go to something new? You know what I'm saying? So you really gotta have a driving force to move a crowd of people from their comfort zone. Because MySpace was the comfort zone, but they made a big improvement where we're like, oh yeah, forget that. So big improvement, then we'll move. Well,
yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like you got to wait until it's like, oh, all of my friends are already on this thing, before you're like, am I wasting my time switching to this thing? Jason, do you have anything else? All right, cool. Well, thanks a heck of a lot for talking to us.
Yeah.